You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good morning and welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Buck, Calvin Butenoff coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine, where you can always join us. The number is the same at 855-752-4842. That's 855-756. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up on the show, lots of things we're going to cover today, including tariffs, Department of Education, Social Security. In hour number 2, Nathan Deming is going to be back. He is a writer, a movie writer and director who is from Wisconsin and kind of bounces back between Wisconsin and California. He's going to be joining us after the 10 o'clock news to talk about Wisconsin included some changes so that we can encourage the film industry to film here.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting.
It's a very exciting thing. When states embrace this, it's a whole new revenue stream that can be found.
Yes, absolutely. So it should be great. We had Nathan on about a month and a half ago or so he's going to join us with a little bit of an update for Audio Sorbet today, which is after 10:30.
Yes.
So we lighten things up a little bit, get away from the news. We're going on a road trip tomorrow with Todd Alba, Matt Nair on Air, and the Todd Alba Show hitting the road. So our Audio Sorbet topic for today, road trips and mishaps.
Ah, yes.
What's your favorite road trip memory?
Yeah.
And what's the biggest mishap that happens on your road trip? Road trips and mishaps coming up after 10:30 for Audio Sorbet. And then we're going to end the show as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it's the edition. So stick around for that. As always, and with anything, if you want to contact the show, you can always email us directly at janesays@civicmedia.us. JANESAYS, Jane Says @civicmedia.us. Wanted to start off with an article in today's Milwaukee Journal Sentinel from Kaylee Gleason and Maya Pandy. Trump has announced new tariffs on dozens of nations. What to know in Wisconsin? This is going to have impacts and is starting to slowly have impacts. We've been talking about this for a long time. Liberation Day was in March.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Wasn't that in March when he initially announced all the tariffs and then hard deadline? We'll move that back. We'll move that back.
130%, 25%.
Wait. I'm not sure. But anyway, yes, it is starting to have impacts. As of July 14th, the president announced reciprocal tariffs on American trading partners and new tariffs on copper and pharmaceutical imports. This is something that we have not talked a lot about.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Reciprocal tariffs target any and all imports from more than 24 countries, including Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. The highest tariff, Brazil, a 50% tariff on Brazil. We have Brazil has a trade surplus or a deficit with us. We have a surplus with Brazil, is my understanding.
Okay, and so that helps either one of us. How then?
It doesn't. He doesn't like Brazil's politics and their prosecution of their former president, Jair Bolsonaro, who attempted a coup like January 6th. And I don't know, it's crazy. They're holding him accountable for that in Brazil, and Donald Trump doesn't like that. That's why he has placed 50% tariffs on Brazil, because it's the United States' responsibility to make sure that other countries are doing what we want.
And the question I have, though, is, and we briefly mentioned it just a moment ago, is, yeah, sure, he says he's going to do these things now, but will he? Because he changes his mind all the time. And the moment any country says, well, we want to work with you, anytime they say something like, well, we hope that President Trump is receptive to sitting down, anytime they pay him any sort of compliment, he backs down immediately and changes his mind. And then all of the people who are definitely not sheeple
Oh, no.
say things like, well, you don't understand the game he's playing. It's the art of the deal.
Such a deal maker.
No, your guy is a petulant baby who just can't not be liked. And one moment he's not liked or he's threatened, he gets the dander comes out, all that stuff happens. But the moment you're like, pet him and say, you're a good boy, he's like, oh, I am?
Well, all you do is need to flatter him.
Yep, that's all you need to do.
He licks that right up.
Yep.
Copper imports will also be taxed at 50%. The administration has not formally yet announced the pharmaceutical tariffs, but President Trump has threatened a 200% tariff on pharmaceuticals.
200%?
200%. That's going to have an impact, my friends.
Yes.
If you take, I don't know, regular medications. We don't make a lot of drugs here.
Well, I think we make the first drug and then the rest gets made
elsewhere.
It's produced other places.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The tariffs on Brazil, again, this from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, could lead to coffee prices to spike across the country. I know Todd went out yesterday and picked up coffee for our road trip. We're going to be in Oshkosh tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Butternut on Thursday, and then in Hayward on Friday. And if you're going to be around, we will have a coffee pot going, so you can stop by for a cup of coffee.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. Todd picked up coffee yesterday, though. He said, "Oh, it's going up."
Yes, I bought a 6-pack of beer for my wife the other day. 6-pack of beer cans is $14. It was $14.
Was it magical special beer?
It better be. It's the kind that gets you feeling warm.
Little comfy.
And yes, it wasn't a 6-pack of Blatz or Schlitz or anything like that, but it's certainly I wasn't buying special beer from atop the mountain.
Right.
It was $14 for a 6-pack.
My sister came over for dinner over the weekend, and she brought guacamole.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It was one of the little containers, not the bigger one.
Yep.
The little one, it was $10 already.
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
$10.
We are seeing, and James Vanderloo, who is the president of the OEC group in Milwaukee, he's been on the show 3 times now, and he said on multiple occasions, and we really should just have him back. I'll work on getting him back here, but I think the problem is we live in a very, very. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. Instant world. A world of instant.
We want satisfaction immediately.
Yeah. If the tariffs go into effect, if I'm not affected by it right now, then there's no problem. He said we're going to have to wait 3, 6, 12 months down the road to feel the full effects of these tariffs that are going to be placed on other countries. And this notion, luckily the argument of, well, the other countries pay the tariffs is sort of a laughed at one now. It's not a legit argument people get to use anymore because now there's just too much information out there to show that.
People have learned that the countries that export are not the ones who are paying the tariffs.
Yeah.
The importers pay the tariffs. The importers raise the prices.
Yes.
So consumers pay the tariffs.
And the other problem that we don't really address either is the fact that when these tariffs kick in, and the ones that already have, and the prices have gone up, if the tariffs go away or they get lowered, don't expect those prices really to go down. I mean, it might be on groceries. We've seen a price drop on eggs, but that doesn't have to do with tariffs. That has to do with the bird flu that happened earlier this year and how it was handled. Those prices can go down, but your toothpaste, your avocado, or no, not your avocado, but like, there are products that the prices will go up and they will stay.
And they'll stay there.
Period.
Yes.
That's it.
Mexico, just as a reminder, supplies 63% of U.S. vegetable imports. 63%. 47% of fruit and nut imports in 2023. And the copper tariff that he just announced, the 50% tariff on copper, could also lead to a hike in costs for appliances and building supplies. Copper is used in lots of things.
I mean, yeah, we have people who have called us who are detractors of this show who work in the trades, and we're like, these products are going to affect you, I'm sure, and you are going to and as a business owner, you're probably going to pass that cost on to the customer, which makes sense. I don't expect you to suck up the cost and say, no, I'm going to eat the cost of the tariff because no, you have to make money. So these tariffs will have a direct impact on Wisconsin.
All of us.
Yeah.
In one form or another.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the exporters are not the ones paying the tariff.
Mm-mm.
And Donald Trump said that a couple of weeks ago.
He said it again?
He said it in relation to China. Well, China's just going to have to pay it. Well, no, China doesn't.
No, they don't.
But at least they're not saying that nobody has to pay for the tariffs. Because we're going to pay for it.
Well, and also Donald Trump also months ago tweeted something about, yes, it's going to get hard and prices are going to go up. We have to just power through and suck it up and
be a good American.
Yeah, be a good American.
It's 2 years of pain, Greg. Just 2 years of suffering.
According to Elon. Where is he? Who? What?
Yeah. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Doge.
If the administration goes through with 200% hike on pharmaceutical tariffs, according to CNBC, Americans could see higher prices and drug shortages.
Mm-hmm. And I really don't think the insurance companies are going to like that either. And they'll either cover less or our premiums will go up to cover their coverage of the drug prices. It's always going to come back to us, folks. It's always going to come back to our pocketbooks. And let's also not just I don't mean to be throwing, gasoline on a fire, but once this budget that was just passed goes into effect, that's going to be another hard hit on your pocketbook. It's going to be difficult. And
that I think people are going to forget about.
Yes. Oh, yes.
People are going to forget about it until the SNAP and the Medicaid cuts come in 2027. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's going to be like, holy cow, how did that happen?
Yeah, and there has been no plan. There's been no, goal, end game, whatever you want to call it, where they show where the prosperity comes. 2 years of pain.
Right.
But what's after the 2 years? I would, that sounds like something that belongs in a long range plan. If you could say we need 2 years of pain, but after 2 years,
this will be the result.
Then okay, fine, let's have the conversation. But the fact is that, as it's been stated before, the economy was looking up. The economy was like the kitchen table economy is one thing that's undeniable. Prices were going up, but all the economic indicators from jobs to Wall Street to housing to infrastructure, those were all showing that the economy was going up at a record level in a short amount of time. Thank you, President Biden.
Well, and now what's going to happen is those kitchen table items, those kitchen table issues are coming to hit all of us because of these tariffs.
Correct.
By the way, Washington Post reporting this morning that inflation is up. Inflation up in June. Prices have risen 2.7% in the past year. That's the latest from the Labor Department, up from a 2.4% annual a month earlier.
Yeah. But that won't matter. It's probably Barack Obama's fault.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
We got to be able to blame someone.
Yeah, we have to blame somebody.
Except don't look backward because only losers look backwards, Greg.
That's the
only
words
losers look backward.
Texas governor.
Except if we're talking about the 2020 election, then we got to look backward. Okay, when we return, Social Security sent out an email that was not accurate. Shock. All the details on the other side. Stay with us. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach. The Board Lord coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up this afternoon, 2 to 4 across the network. Todd Alba going to be live from here, Radio Park in Racine, getting ready for our summer road trip, which kicks off after his show. We're hitting the road. We'll talk about that more a little bit later on. He will have all the latest headlines and news from across the Wisconsin, and then in the 3 o'clock hour, Todd Alba with What's Worse. I love that segment. It's so much fun. What's Worse? Breakfast Pastry Edition.
I mean, it has to be pretty extreme for me personally. Like, it's like
all breakfast pastries are good.
Yeah, I would say like, hey, would you like? If someone said, would you like liverwurst and bacon? I'd be like, no, thank you. I think I'm gonna pass.
A liverwurst and bacon
pastry
with
like a cream cheese sweet spread.
Well,
yeah, there you go.
No,
okay.
no.
Yeah. See, I found your place. I found it.
Join Todd this afternoon from 2 to 4 in the 3 o'clock hour, the What's Worse edition of breakfast pastry. I shall be very, very curious to hear how that goes. Wanted to talk about this a little bit from the Wisconsin Examiner, Eric Gunn, with the byline, Social Security message hyping tax cut bill produces blowback. Retired Professor Larry White says he got an email on July 4th from Social Security. The 71-year-old who lives in Middleton has been getting Social Security since he retired in 2019, but he said ever since he started receiving Social Security, every single email that he's gotten has been pretty much straightforward.
Yeah. And
just here's the thing, and here's your benefits, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
He said this time, this message included a misleading description of one piece of this new law, which Social Security did have to go back and issue a correction. Oopsie. The email included a quote from our new Social Security Commissioner, Frank Bisignano. Quote, appeared to value currying favor with the president over telling Americans the truth, says Frank White, the 71-year-old. He says, I want our federal agencies to be independent offices that act with integrity and serve the public, not the president. The Social Security message claimed that the legislation, so again, this is the big blob of a bill that just passed. It claimed that the legislation ensures nearly 90% of Social Security beneficiaries will no longer pay federal income taxes on their benefits. That's not correct.
Yeah, and I got that email. I looked to make sure. I was like, I got a Social Security email too recently.
Yeah.
I got the same email.
That's not correct.
Wow.
The actual change that the message apparently refers to is income taxes paid by people 65 or older with incomes $75,000 a year or less for single filers, $150,000 a year or less for couples. There is no new exemption of Social Security income from federal income taxes, only a new deduction for all people 65 plus, regardless of income source. So this claim that 90% of people on Social Security are getting benefit, no. For people 64 and younger who get their income from Social Security, there is no comparable tax cut. Sounded great.
Yeah.
If only that were true.
Great to email out. It's a wonderful, it's
Yeah.
It's almost like they didn't check to be sure.
Yeah. This happened once before. Social Security mailed out checks in October of 1972. Richard Nixon wanted to include an insert so he could take credit for the benefit increase. The Social Security Commissioner at that time threatened to resign if he did that.
I mean, in today's day and
And
age,
Nixon backed off.
Wow. Isn't it when you look at the Nixon era, everything that happened there, when you just, like, people know that, okay, Nixon, Watergate, Nixon got investigated, he resigned. That in and of itself is amazing. But when you read the whole story on what the U.S. Congress did, they still issued a report. Republicans were demanding he step down.
Yeah.
It was just a fiasco, to which then eventually Richard Nixon took responsibility. He stepped down.
What a shock.
But the fact that he would go to the Social Security Department and say, I want this. And the guy says, if you do that, I quit. And he goes, I'm sorry.
Isn't that amazing?
In today's day and age, that guy would be handed a box saying, have a good day. We'll get someone else who does it. Donald Trump will run Social Security.
Absolutely.
He'll be in charge of it.
And sign all the checks personally.
Yes.
He'd love that.
Yeah.
So, they sent that out on July 4th with the incorrect information. But then on July 7th, the Social Security Administration added a correction. Yeah. And changed that second sentence to, yes, it does this by providing enhanced deductions for taxpayers aged 65 and older. Its words are important.
But they're tough too, Jane.
Words are difficult.
Sometimes
they can be very, very tricky. I understand.
Sometimes I want to say, like, send my enemies to jail. But then people are like, you can't do that. I'm like, oh, man. I thought I could. Words are tough.
Words are tricky. We understand them. We will include all of these articles. Greg will put them in the show notes if you would like to read a little bit more deeply about this.
Yeah.
And take a look for yourself. But just little important things to know.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We have news coming up next, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the Department of Education and what happened with our shadow docket Supreme Court. That's all on the way. Stay close. You are listening to Matt and Air on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Good morning and welcome to Matt and Air on Air. Jane Matt and Air, Greg Bach, Sweet Calby on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Next hour at this time is the segment we call Audio Sorbet, where we lighten things up to get away from the news a little bit, take a breath. We're going to talk about road trips and mishaps.
Yes.
Road trip mishaps. So start thinking about it now. We would love to hear yours. You were all excited, all packed up, all ready to go, and something did not go well.
They closed Wally World? That's
no.
a very old reference.
Road trips and mishaps coming up after 10:30 for Audio Sorbet.
Yep.
That's all related to our road trip that we're starting later on today.
Yeah.
Todd Alba Show and Matt Nair on air going on the road. Todd's going to do his show from here today from 2 to 4, and then the three of us hit the road and head to Oshkosh, where we will broadcast tomorrow from the EAA Museum. Very excited.
Yes, indeed.
Looking forward to this. Also excited to have our friend and colleague and host of the Pat Kreitlow Show, Matt Mornings with Pat Kreitlow across the network from 6 to 9. Pat Kreitlow is here. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. It's nice to be here. Moose should have told you out front there, Greg, that it was closed. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yes.
You should have
cut
known.
there.
You should have known.
World. Yeah. Hey, I'm looking forward to this road trip of yours. This is going to be great.
It should be a lot of fun. If we were a little closer to you, we would have
Well, Todd was here last week.
I know
figured
he was.
This was the appetizer, being at the fair with, Sue the chicken and Josh Showman and all the other folks that we had at the fair last week.
Sue the chicken.
Yeah.
Is that a phrase you avert like Sue the chicken?
She was an actual chicken.
Oh, gotcha.
Sue the chicken made an appearance on Todd's show when they were at the fair last week. And Tony on the live stream texted in and said she was the most docile chicken of all time.
I was really hoping the chicken was like, you know why I love President Trump's big, beautiful bill?
No, Sue just sat there very serenely.
Very placid.
I think placid, one could say. Yes, it was suspicious. And all I could figure is we did eventually bring up the Minecraft movie and the song about Steve's lava chicken. And maybe Sue thought, if I don't behave, I will be turned into some lava chicken. So Sue sat there very nicely.
That's
Too
really
nicely.
funny.
I'm not convinced it's not an animatronic or something.
Although we have talked to people who have chickens.
Yes.
And they're our favorite chickens. We talked to a woman who has a favorite chicken because they have very different personalities. So, but anyway, as we move on to more important things, the Supreme Court came out yesterday with yet another shadow docket decision that no one has owned and no one explains, and essentially gives Trump the go-ahead to fire now 1,400 people from the Department of Education. This seems bad.
It does seem bad, doesn't it?
Yes.
and it does seem extra legal.
Yes.
Because as noted in the dissent by the court's liberal justices, only Congress has the power to abolish a department. So here's the thing. If there's good news in this, and I'm just going to put good in very big quotation marks, it's this. Some of our conservative friends out there say that government only grows, it never shrinks. The fact of the matter is this ruling says, well, yes, there can be shrinkage in a government. Whether it's a good idea is another thing entirely. So if the court is going to allow this, de facto dismantling of a department, it just shows to the voters that actually, these pendulums can swing either way. And now that this one has swung this way, and it's going to hurt our education. It's going to hurt our kids. Maybe you want to think twice before supporting people who are actually going to take your tax dollars, not serve you with them, and instead give them away as billionaire tax cuts instead.
I mean, that seems to be the MO over every single thing, whether you're talking to Ron Johnson or you're talking to Donald Trump or you're talking to anyone in that party. Every single cut, every single thing they do to save, insure, is just about shoring up cash to give back to millionaires and trillionaires. And they can paint it as we're taking back education or we're sending it back to this. That's another one too. We're sending it back to the states.
Oh yes.
But it's just really, I mean, really, it's a heist job. It's a heist thing.
It's a power grab.
Yes.
It's a power grab.
Yeah. That's
it's a
all
heist.
it is.
It's a power grab, and it would be different if at the end of this process they said, and we end up with a balanced budget, or at the end of this we end up with a surplus. But they're saying, hey, we want to cut all this, and we're going to make the deficit worse.
Yeah.
We're going to add $4 trillion to the deficit. I mean, that does make it a literal heist that we're putting it on the nation's credit card to give more tax breaks for billionaires. And I cannot believe we are again discussing whether trickle-down economics works. It doesn't, boys and girls.
No.
It's a fairy tale.
Been waiting
it's
a long
right
time.
up there with the flat Earth and what people say about vaccines and that. Trickle-down economics is right up in that. And yet here we go again.
We've been waiting since the 80s. We've been waiting
Yeah.
since the 80s
Yep.
for trickle down. I remember very, very well. I was 20 years old, and we're all waiting
Yeah.
for that trickle. And wasn't it Ron Johnson who just said last week when he was talking about the budget, put aside the tax
Yes.
cuts,
Yes.
and then we have a surplus. Well, and
Put
that's
aside the tax cuts.
yeah, just put that aside, and then we really, come out ahead. And when we were talking about it last week, I said, well, then when I'm making my monthly household budget, if I don't have to count the $1,500 I pay in a mortgage, I'm way ahead.
Even more so, it's like, Judge, I know that my fingerprints are everywhere and I had the gun on me, but if you take aside the bank robbery, I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Look, if you take aside the pizza, the cheeseburgers, the old fashions, and the chocolate, I'm 150 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah, right. I know. When I heard that, it's just like,
Well, and speaking of Ron Johnson, I'm glad you brought, because that's where I wanted to sort of take it right here. Oh, but if you're just tuning in, we are talking to the host of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Pat Kreitlow is here today. He's here every other Tuesday. And that concern that Ron Johnson had over the bill, just like he had in 2017, that he ended up voting for it anyways, because last time he got guaranteed tax breaks pass through for him and his buddies.
Yep.
This time he was just given the promise of ... And he said, all that concern I said about my kids and my grandkids, I was told it'd be fine, so it'd probably be fine. So here's a yes vote. I'm going to go to my Florida home.
And to go back into that, he has implied that the administration will take another look at how to make savings further down the road.
Yes.
There's that saying, Trump always chickens out. The same can be said for the so-called Freedom Caucus. Yeah. The ones that say that they're deficit hawks, which the acronym for that one wouldn't be taco, would be what, FCACA? Something like that.
Covfefe. It's Covfefe.
It's Covfefe for the Freedom Caucus. I mean, I don't want to hear about the Freedom Caucus anymore because, look, I wasn't on your guys' side. I wasn't. But it turns out you didn't have a side at all.
No.
You're nothing. You're nothing.
Well, and that was the thing, too, is I apologize for making this reference, but it's something that's apt for me. If you see the movie Die Hard, I'll make this connect. If you see the movie Die Hard, the bad guys are trying to paint themselves to the press as we are freedom fighters. We are here. We want to unjail our brothers and sisters in protest, when really they're just robbing the place. And that's what this is. This is them saying we are going to defund the Department of Education. We're going to give the money back to the states. We're going to do all these things in the name of America, when really all they're doing is taking our tax dollars and passing it off to their buddies. And we're not going to, as we said before, it doesn't take really any place until next year, or actually a year and a half.
2027.
So it's they're betting on people being lulled out of remembering it, but we need to talk about it constantly, especially in the face of a midterm election. But that's all this is. It's a bank heist.
But did you have to go with a Christmas movie? Don't you have something else that you could use for
The second
Oh, wait, that's a whole different debate.
The second
Never mind.
greatest Christmas
Don't
movie.
even start that fight, Pat Kreitlow. It's time for that. Other
Instigator
things to
here.
talk about. And we're going to talk more about this with Jim Santel. But this whole decision by the Supreme Court, again, with no explanation, nobody signed it. None of the conservative justices signed off on this or wrote an argument in favor of it. This is not good. And my question, because this is still moving its way through the courts, is my understanding, right, Pat?
And it is.
It is.
But along with the 23 other lawsuits that I know Josh Kaul is a part of for suing the Trump administration, but that the court will allow these things to happen even though the case is continuing. They're saying, well, the case will eventually get here and we'll rule on the merits of the case. But until we rule on the merits of whether you're a bank robber, you can go ahead and take money out of the bank is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And to do it in an unsigned decision, like these shadow docket things are, shows a kind of arrogance or a hubris, or I don't know exactly how to put it, of authoritarian governments. In that, in much the same way that Republicans in Congress and in the legislature completely shut out Democrats, they no longer hold as many roll call votes. They no longer hold as many public hearings on these things. These are trends that should really trouble people that, look, we know you have the majority. The fact that you won't even allow a discussion to take place in the open and a vote to take place should trouble anybody who actually believes in democracy more so than their team winning, because, that can flip in a heartbeat.
And that's really what it all comes down to, is your team winning, because at the base of it all, I don't know any millionaires and billionaires, or I'm not close friends with any.
They're not telling you.
They're not telling
You know
me.
Mathers. Sorry.
But
Radio pay. Come on.
these folks who we know who call us and disagree with us, I'm guessing they're blue-collar, middle-class folks. All of these policies will most likely never benefit them. But as long as the team they're supporting wins, that's good enough, it seems like to them. Even though the prices on their kitchen table are going to go up, their taxes, the refunds they may have gotten are going to go away, the taxes they're going to pay are going to go up. Everything seeks to harm them in these acts of legislation. But they support Donald Trump because at least I got to win. Yeah. And I'm right, you're wrong.
Right.
And he's against the guys that I'm against, which amazingly aren't the billionaires who are robbing them, but somebody else that they made out to be the bad guy who is in their same tax bracket, but they're not exactly like me. And so, I want to believe that they're the reason that I'm being robbed rather than, the benevolent billionaires who are passing along these messages.
Yeah, exactly. Good heavens, we're dismantling the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Who does that protect? That protects really, really wealthy businesses.
Yes.
They
and we're going to dismantle it.
Yeah. When they hired all those extra agents for the IRS and they collected over a billion dollars in taxes that were cheated on, not like they immediately painted it as waiters and waitresses and good hardworking getting audited by the IRS. No, they're not. No. These are people who have purposely and illegally taken their tax money and put it other places and not paid them at all. And that's our money.
Is white-collar crime really a crime?
Is it really?
Is it really anymore?
On.
Please.
That sounds about white.
Yeah. We're going to continue kicking things around with Pat Kreitlow from Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Stay with us. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air on the vast, statewide, countrywide. Pick us up globally on the app, the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Good morning and welcome back to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Calviente on the board. Coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Pat Kreitlow from Mornings with Pat Kreitlow is here, 6 to 9 a.m. early shift across the Civic Media Radio Network. And we're going to talk about something that's a little personal for both you and Greg, but I'm genuinely so excited for both of you. And this is something that Greg and I had talked about for a long time. And I know he was pressuring you, Pat Kreitlow, for a long time.
I think it's great that it's very grown up that we can have this kind of bedroom talk about Greg and about me. So thank you for opening up this sensitive topic.
I want to talk about CPAP.
Yes.
I would just like to make one thing clear. I did not pressure Pat into doing this. I straight up, on and off air, bullied him into doing it.
Well,
so
there we go.
Let's just call it what it is. I bullied Patrick Kreitlow into doing this.
But I would like,
appreciate
I
that.
guess I would like you guys, because for folks who are listening, you are not alone. There are all kinds of people who do not get enough sleep.
Yes.
This is a very much American problem. And with a lot of us just not getting decent enough sleep, and part of it can be you're having breathing issues. Now, Greg, when you went to have your test, you died like 5 times a night.
Okay,
But I mean, you stopped breathing.
Well, so first of all, I think the American problem, in as much as the sleeping issue here, is not so much I believe that sleeping affects people all over the world. I think the not getting it checked out is the American end of that discussion.
Fair enough.
For me, yes, I did a sleep study, and we found out that it's called apnea events, where your breathing is either halted, stopped, or you just can't get the oxygen. It was happening to me 99 plus times an hour.
An hour.
And so my sleep and at certain points during the night, 5% of the oxygen that was supposed to go to my brain was getting to my brain. So it resulted in, like, now I wasn't tired. Tired isn't the word. It's an exhaustion that you can't describe.
And you can't shake it.
You can't shake it. But you also just think, well, I'm just not sleeping well. And then you slough it off as to that.
Right.
And for me, it was an exhaustion where it was falling asleep during the day, dozing off while I was driving.
Nodding off,
the whole thing. So with a good amount of bullying from other people to me, I got a sleep study. And I went to a place, and they hooked me up with a CPAP machine. And the first night was revelatory.
You came in the next day, and you were a different person.
Yeah.
I could see it in you.
Yes,
I could see it in you.
I could feel it.
So, Pat, you also had problems with sleep, I assume. And I know Greg had been mildly encouraging you. Okay, he bullied you and pushed you. And so
fine.
You finally went and got a sleep study. Did you have the same kind of results?
I did, but the background is a little bit different to it. I mean, yes, I too was like, I'm sleepy. I have an early shift. I don't get enough rest.
Right.
Sherry, my wife, at some point said, do you think you might have sleep apnea? And I said, what do you mean? She's like, you stop breathing during the night. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm breathing. At no point have I ever woken up and went, I can't breathe. She's like, no, you stop breathing. She said, you've got this Apple Watch. Why don't you set it to monitor your sleep? Because it has a sleep apnea thing. I did it for a couple of nights, and the Apple Watch pops up and says, "Are you dead? You should be dead. Have you ever considered oxygen as a good thing for your brain?"
Also, for context, if you don't know, his wife is a doctor.
Yeah.
Yes. So I do listen to my gynecologist, and she did say go get a sleep study. And so I did. And mine was an at-home study, and it said the same thing. Now, not 99 breathing stoppages an hour, but 20 an hour is still
that's a lot.
It's too much.
Noteworthy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, and I get that I was wrong about this, but I was extremely dramatic at the front end, because in my mind, and I just turned 60 when this came up as well, this is it. You may as well put me in the ground. That's it. I'm dead. If now, the
What's
bed
next?
is where I hook up to a robot to breathe, this is, I did not take it well.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's like, I don't think I have a problem because, again, I don't notice it. I just think I'm sleepy.
Right.
I finally listened to the evidence. I went to talk to the sleep specialist and made that dreaded trip to the medical supply place. And after I tried on a couple of different masks and realized, you know what, this will be okay. This will be okay. Give it a try. And much like Greg, that first night, that first morning, you're like, I remember this
feeling. Did it really feel like that, Pat?
Yes, from the first night. And you look at the little graph, on your iPhone, in my case, and it shows like virtually no breathing disturbances. And I thought I was going to feel claustrophobic and everything else. It's actually quite comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It does what it says it's going to do. Now, granted, I've been on it for 1 week, but for these past 7 nights, in some people, it eventually clears up, either if you lose weight or other things. But other people, it has nothing to do with weight or age.
Right.
It's just there.
Right.
Yes.
So for as long as I'm going to need this, I'm going to take it because it is therapy and it is good for you. And for me, the most important part is Sherry is very happy about it. And it's not so much a snoring thing. It's my husband is breathing again thing. So she is sleeping better too.
Sure.
So if anybody, just hear my tale and go, look, if that drama queen could get over his anxieties and get this and be happy, I should look into it too.
It's not the beginning of the end.
No.
It's the beginning of a new beginning.
Yep. And it's, as you said, it's therapy. That's how you have to look at it. It's only going to get better and better. And one more thing before we skip out of here is, yes, it can affect anyone. Age, size, nothing is a lock. You can be a young person, older person, big, short, doesn't matter. If you're having problems sleeping, get a test.
Go get checked out. Pat Kreitlow, Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, 6 to 9 across the network. Thank you so very much, Pat. Really appreciate it. We will see you in a couple.
You bet. See ya.
News is coming up next. Stay with us. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.